Outer Orange.
Today, welcome back. We have quite a bit to talk about. It's mainly JP results today, but I do want to break it down. There's quite a lot of cool stuff, and I kind of want to break down some decks for set 5, kind of go into detail about them a little bit more. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, fam, we got the Hong Kong results as top 8. We got the 2 Varga, 1 Black, 1 Prison, 1 Love, 1 Odium, 1 Night Rose. Quite a good mix here. Odium is definitely starting to show a lot of popularity, and I believe this is it for this one. And oh, here's the actual top 4, but we don't actually have any decks for this one, so maybe we'll have actual decks for this one. I think this is what this is looking like. So basically, Raziel, Love, Varga, and Raziel took it away. All very strong decks here. Love and Berry is obviously very popular over in JP. This is a collab. I'm probably not gonna get it. The main two to focus on is definitely Raziel and Varga. Both of them got new forms since set 5, so both of them are showing obviously representation. They're both pretty powerful. Some people are kind of knocking down Varga a little bit, but I don't really know. I don't play Varga that much. I'll be testing it probably in the upcoming weeks, but I do know Raziel well enough to understand why it's performing well. I actually think the deck's relatively good, especially without the new form. So that's obviously showing results. We also have the Chiho Cup. This is for Yamagata. This is the top 16. We have a lot of leverage dress. I actually finally started testing this deck. I actually made tweets about it just recently, and this deck is actually insanely good already. Like, it's not like tier 1 or anything like that at the moment. We just got it in set 4, but it's actually, I can understand why it would get better with new obvious stuff. The ride line is actually really strong. The fact that you can kind of play a little bit differently with the ride line also makes sense. You get to actually plus off of the ride line anyway, so you can kind of play more denial approaches, and I think that's really interesting. Currently just an okay deck. It doesn't have any insane tools because there's not that much support for it, but going into set 5, this deck definitely gets very powerful, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Next, we have Raziel again, we have Love again, Varga again, Night Rose again, and then we have a couple Shojodoji, Leonorns, Odium, Black deck, we have VCFL, and then we have the Bat deck, which I really like the Bat deck, so I'm really excited to see that perform. Harry, Shojodoji still coming up, by the way, Blackmire, and a couple other ones kind of further down, including Element Jester, Alec Believer, and a couple others. We have still seeing a Kyrie here kind of come breaking through, but long story short, I think the top 10ish decks here are all very good options. There's a couple for us that aren't going to be that relevant, like Love and Black. We're not going to get those, but the other ones definitely should be a consideration, something to look into. Let's look at top 4 right here. So first place was Night Rose, Shojodoji, and Harry, and we could look at the Harry list just to see what they're doing. I have the double Bat-Bat deck. I know some people talked about this. I actually haven't had a chance to look at what's going on here. I'm curious myself to see what was the difference. I'm assuming there was a ride line difference, or maybe they had like a different Vanguard when they went into the bat. And then we have Blackmire, and then here's Levidress, Shojodoji, and Jeweled, and then Raziel, Levidress, and then Love. I will say this team right here, my face is kind of blocking it. This 4 team right here, I feel is incredibly strong, in my opinion. But I think for us, like on the English side, taking out Love and putting in like basically any other deck would be very powerful to like Varga or something. Like a Varga, Levidress, the Raziel team seems kind of insane, or maybe like look at that instead would be really good. We'll take a look at these lists here in a second, but let's just pile in. I'm gonna go through them all, and then I'm gonna look back at some lists here. This is WGP Busan. Top 8, we have a lot of Raziel, Odiums, Love, Levidress, and Night Rose. Odium taking it all with first and second, and then we have Berry and Raziel. We'll talk about Odium if we get a deck list to kind of look at. I think we have a couple lists here to look at, so look at those in a second here. And then I think this is the last one for at least the pie chart. So top 8 week for WGP China. We had Levidress, Luard, Blackmire, Love, Raziel, Shojodoji, and Night Rose. And then the top 4 looked like this: Levidress, Black, Luard, and Vanguard. So let's go ahead and look at some of the lists here. I think that's everything, but I do want to look at the list. So we'll just start with this China one. So first place was the Levidress deck. So we have the King in there. We got you still run the old one because you want to shove him into Soul for the effects. We have the new Massacre, the new girl that she's really powerful. We'll talk about her in a second. The new Magnolia Fairy thing, and then still seeing orders. I actually didn't know this deck still played orders. And we have a little bit of a Dianthra here. And then after that, we're starting to see fronts. This deck has to run draws right now, but you can actually change it to fronts going into the future deck, I presume, because I think it draws better and just doesn't have as much of a board issue. And also you get markers faster, so I think the drawing just comes up better. Second place was the Black deck. This is just a very aggressive deck. I'm not going to go over too much because obviously we just don't have the deck, and we don't know if we're getting it, so kind of a weird one to talk about. Here's Luard with the Maples and the not new, but the newest of the cards, which is the Great 2. That Luard got. Everything else should be basically the same. I don't know if they have the promo yet over there or not. I don't think they the new promo that's coming. But as you can see, it's a pretty basic Luard deck. There's nothing too crazy in here. I don't know what this card is, but for the most part, it's like kind of what Luard's been. But it just does really well. You draw a lot, you scale a lot, you kind of can live through a lot, and it's just a good deck in my opinion. And then we have Blackmire. Blackmire should still be about the same with running the order package. And then, oh yeah, that's right, Shenri is out for them. So they have a Dark Stage Shenri, which is part of why Odium's doing so go well. Odium's good on its own, but also gets a big power buff with Shenri as well. So here's another. So that is interesting because this gives access to draw for Blackmire. Blackmire does draw, but early draw is better than late game draws. And plus Blackmire, they're their options. You don't have to draw. And this one is really good for early on because early on you can draw into all the correct pieces, and later on you can stop drawing. I think that's really important here with the Shenri. So that's interesting. I don't know if it messes the space of like the way the deck functions, but that seems pretty good. We have the top four for this one. So Odium took it all. With this one, I am gonna do a video on this. I made a poll recently about this deck. I need to actually study it. I have a general idea of what it does, but I need to actually go over it. But here's like basically a sample list of sort of what this deck is looking like. They do have Shenri over there, and Shenri is very powerful with the combination of the Festival Collection cards. So obviously we're going to see this combination quite a bit because it's just very strong. So here we also have a Raziel. If you guys are interested in Raziel, here is seems to be like a good list of what Raziel is not looking like. Looks like they're running both, and they're running the OG one. Order package with the dog, and then Biscottis, and basically just going down that approach. And then there's the berry list. If anyone's interested in the berry, I'm just gonna quickly put it up here. You guys can pause the video and look at it, and then to make your decisions from there if we ever actually get to that. Okay, so I opened up a couple of lists from this little top 4 thing here. So this is the Shojodoji list. So this is the list with the restriction already. So if we get the restriction, this is sort of what maybe a list will start looking like. Not 100% sure. I haven't tested it myself. We noticed that people are running Shenri now. They have the Festival Collection card. We have a little bit of Forktail. And then we have obviously the one of this. You're kind of noticing people are kind of trying to make the deck work. You'll notice some are cutting back on the President and then just trying to find room to basically still find the cards you're looking for. You don't get the cards to hand, which is kind of sucky about this. Also, the bond deck in this card is just really good, so losing access to that kind of hurts. So it looks like the deck's still performing pretty decently from the looks of it, so I guess we'll see sort of where this goes. I also opened up the Ava Bat list. So this list is running Ava, but then it just goes into the Bat deck basically, and they're running everything is basically just the deck, but they just have this in there. Just take this and put it here and bump up one of these cards. You basically have the deck. Basically running the monster card, the one for archetype you can run there, but then this is the one that gets the extra power. It's not once per turn, you can again, and then after that you're basically just running orders, and then there's the new grade 1. I don't remember what the new grade 1 does. I need to read it again. I remember being good, I just don't remember its exact effect. So this one says, if your guy's great theory greater, you can retire this unit, reveal a number of set words from your hand, from 3 or more of different types, place all set words revealed in the cost into the order zone. You did draw 1. That's really nuts because you get to basically just go so fast with your game plan. It's not even funny. Like this speeds up the deck so much. Really good. And basically, this one is the Ava version, but I'm assuming the regular version is basically the same. And it just like here's the actual Bat deck. So this one is running just I'm assuming all 1 card difference. It's on right here, but this is just the actual Bat deck. I mean, very similar process. They might just have a little bit more orders, but it looks about the same. It is interesting to see these at lower copies. I feel like this should be higher, but I don't know. Maybe there's something. I don't know. Maybe you just want to keep playing spells over. It is kind of funny to see that out of all the spell decks out there, this is the one that plays the most spells. I call them spells, they're orders. It's just funny to me that this is the deck that has the most orders in it when it realistically should be Zorga. Like Zorga should look like this because you should just be playing orders over and over again and have like only 2 dudes that you really like work with, and that's it. But for some reason this is the one that has it all, which is very interesting. But I'm actually really excited for this deck. I'm a big fan. I have everything for this exception of literally the new cards, so I'm really excited to see where this goes, as I'm a big fan of Bat-Bat, so I'm really hyped to see. Next we have the Levadress deck. So I want to talk about Levadress just a little bit since deck is going to be very impactful. So we'll start with the ride line. I'll start from the 0 to up. This card's insane. It just says literally just if you have the starter, just ride it for free. Very insane effect. This one just says on ride when you go to Levadress, you basically get to Energy Blast 3, look at top 5, grab any grade 3 or less unit, grab any grade 3 or less card and add to your hand. You can add almost basically anything that's not grade 4. The thing's insane. Like I have having to read it over and over again because of how nuts this grade 2 is. Like you can just grab like it's just so good. You can grab grade 4s obviously, but you can grab everything else is in motion to grab it. But it says we'll choose up to 1 card that is a grade 3 or lower really add to your hand. So that's perfect cards, that's orders, that's blitz orders, that's personas. It adds like anything. This is an insanely good effect. In all honesty, it's really strong. Now we have a new actual king card. This guy is also pretty good. He basically has the same name as the other one, and then also during turn for each love address in your soul, this also gets plus 5k power, and he gets all the divine abilities on top of that. So you get additional 5 plus 5k, and then you also have the divine effects. So basically, you just shove the love address in, and you get extra effects. So you can counterblast 1 for his main effect, or put a card from the soul, which usually would be love address. Use 2 rears and place 1 of the infinity cards on it, and then if you place a grade 3 or greater card into soul for the cost, you get 3. So basically, if you have the love address in hand, you just shove it in. You get 3 markers, and that's also insane. That's so good. That's just so powerful because it like buffs up a lot of what his effects do. And then on top of that, any rear guard that has the ability, you get to minus a 10k on your opponent's side, and then you get to draw a card, and also your side gets an additional 10k on top of that. So it's also just really, really strong because your board just gets insanely buffed and scales really fast. It's just really powerful. You also get the divine scale, which on your opponent's, if your opponent's looking through your grid, you can also soul blast and put another marker, and then you can also get a crit and you get a drive check. Not drive check, get a crit, an extra 10k. Now, why does this matter? You don't have to shotgun the divine skill anymore, which I think is very important. Right now, if you're going second and playing Love Address, you have to shotgun divine skill going second because you can't catch up. Like, the deck's too slow. And now that this exists, this basically makes it so you don't have to shotgun the divine skill automatically. You can wait a turn and kind of hold on to when you want a divine skill, which is a huge difference in the mechanic of the deck. Not having to shotgun that effect makes the divine skill way stronger. Because right now, the reason why the divine skill is weak is because if you're going first, you can wait on it, which is good. But if you're going second, you can't wait on it. And your opponent will basically always know when you're going to shotgun it. And that really sucks because a lot of the deck is not really fully functional because 2 markers just isn't as impactful as 3 markers is for obvious reasons. Also, you get your multi-attack if you have the 3 markers active, which is also very important. It also means that you can play with more markers, which means you're basically doing more with your opponent's board as well, which is also impactful. Right now, you basically give them 1, and if you divine 2, otherwise you're really just giving them 1 marker every single turn for a counter blast. It's really not that impactful, but giving them more than 1 or potentially like 2 is just a lot better, obviously. So this deck definitely gets a really big upgrade with this, but there's obviously more to this deck than just, the king. I'll talk about the cards already present first, and then we'll kind of go into it. So we have the bug guy that keep up. This card's insane. I didn't realize how insane this card was. The top 2 scry is like absolutely nuts, and then it also has multi-attack on top of it, and it's just an energy blast 3, which is also a very strong effect. This card is really, really strong. The numbers aren't insane. It's basically a 20k beater on its own, 30 with the infinity marker on it, and even more if you have triggers and all that kind of fun stuff. But what's really cracked about this card is definitely the top 2. But the fact that you get to stack with this deck with this card is insane. This is another one of those cards that I have to keep reading over and over again, just to make sure I was reading the card correctly and that I wasn't like cheating my opponent. But it actually, you just literally just top or bottom. Like this is so good. Like it's such a good effect. You want to spam this card as much as possible. Also lets you put a card into your hand, which is basically a draw. And you get to pick which card you're picking out of the 2, and the other one can go on top or bottom. So if you don't like both of them, you can add one of them even if you don't like it, but you can put the other one to the bottom. The only time this card went against me when I did a top 2 and it was both heals, and I was like, one heal to hand, one heal to top. But it is what it is. It happens. That's basically the only time I've seen this kind of go against me. Keep in mind now, with also having to run the both love addresses, this can also find your love addresses, so you can do the skill first and then use the love address skill to shove into soul, so you can find something juicy, shove into soul, and then do everything else, which is also very cool. So this deck, this card's insane. This girl, she basically 3 markers, she gets 10k, but basically Carol Blast revive anything. Pretty good. It's like a 3OS, if I remember correctly. Really, really good. She's not like that impactful in my opinion, but she's still really good. This card is the festival card that is really good too, because she also checks top card on place, and then you can counterblast and grab a normal unit from your drop, or you can discard. You go top card, and you can discard, you can go top. But then after that, you can counterblast and you can revive a 2 or less, or you can grab an order, which is also very important. The order can, keep going with some of your order abilities, or you can just revive anything of importance and go down that path. We do run right now we're running the counter charger at 4. You kind of need to because he needs to kill himself off for the grade 2. Right now, the grade 2 can't attack if something's in front of it. It just can't attack period with that. And it's also restricted to the 3 marker restriction as well. But if you have the 3 markers and there's still something in front of it, it can't attack. So that's something I think is fine. But this counter charger helps a lot. It basically just says if you attack or boost at the end of the turn, at the end of that battle, you put this counter charge. That's really insane because it just says counterblast and gives something the ability to attack in the back row, which is very important because you can choose anything. And it gets 10k power on top of that, which is just very powerful. Now let's look at the new cards because I don't know the new cards as well, so let's look at them together. So we have this new fairy cat thing. It says at the end of the battle in which this unit boosted, you can pay Soul Blast 1 to move this unit to an empty rearguard circle on your back row. If you move this unit to a rearguard circle with infinity, you can stand this unit against plus 5k, which is also very strong because you can boost with it and then move it somewhere else and then stand it and then you can attack again. So especially if you give it the ability to attack, so it's also just a very impactful little kitty cat. And then we also have this new musketeer, which is also just insane. It's absolutely disgusting. Now that I know more about the deck, it's disgusting. So this basically says you have 3 or more markers, and you do not have a rearguard with the same name as her. You can Soul Blast to call this to rearguard circle drop, and then rearguard circle when she attacks. If you have infinity markers as calm as her, you can pay the cost, retire another rearguard to give this plus 10k until the end of that battle. And pay the cost, retire so you can draw 1. This is really, really good because you basically kill off something else, which then procs the grade 2. And also you can kill out something that you don't want on the board, which is perfectly fine because you'll get to revive it as well. And then you can retire her and then draw a card. So you basically have better synergy with your board presence now, which is super important. As I mentioned, the board presence, the way the board works and how you play with the board is very important. This is kind of reminds me of Magnolia, but just so much better in my opinion, because you also get to mess with your opponent's board. This is really good overall. The fact that she's also a soul blast to call is insane because Love Address doesn't really use its soul that much. Actually, part of the reason you even run orders is to just go through your soul. Because this deck, because sometimes good cards will get stuck in your soul, like the Grade 1 Counter Charger, and you're like, oh no, I need that card out. You use something like this, get it back out. It's just really good. So yeah, this card's like absolutely insane. very strong. That's basically Love Address kind of in a nutshell. We have Shiranui. This is Shiranui after the restrictions. So I just wanted to show you guys what an after restricted list looks like, just for those of you guys out there that still want to play this deck, what that looks like. So if you're curious, this is a restricted Shiranui list. One more time, we see defensive roar in here, a couple other things, but overall it looks about the same. Just bumping up basically other restands. Anyway, congrats to everyone that was able to perform well, and to those that were able to participate and have a good time regardless. You know, at the end of the day, it's not always about the win. It's sometimes about the journey and the memories that you have while you're there. So hopefully everyone had a good time throughout all of these different events that happened. We're about to have Duluth. I'm really excited about it. Hope you are too. I'll be there. Hope to see you there. I'm gonna have some goodies with me for some random people to just give out, and I'm gonna try to vlog the experience as much as possible to the best of my capabilities, of course. And I can't wait to see everybody and all that kind of fun stuff. On that, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys in a future video. Do not forget to shop if you guys will shop. OuterOrange if you need any of your goodies. He has a lot of goodies as always to look into, so do not forget to do that. And yeah, on that, guys, peace out. That's what I'll see you guys in a future video. Do not forget to subscribe. Bye.